Hi, I'm KristamWest. I'm the owner and designer of Avlea Folk Embroidery. And in this video, I'm going to show each of our traditional folk embroidery fabrics so that you have an idea of what each one is good for, what kind of projects you might want to use them for. Let's start with our most popular folk embroidery fabric and what is in a huge number of our kits, traditional ground cloth. This fabric was the first folk embroidery fabric I was introduced to. It is a 26 count, 100% cotton, and it is machine made now, but it's done in such a way that it mimics original hand woven fabrics. It is great if you are looking for a wonderful sort of folk feel, something that has great texture. It's also very easy to see the threads, and it's really good for drawn thread hem work. It's got a lovely natural color, and fun fact, it smells good. It smells like wheat. I thought it was just me, but then other people told me they noticed it too. So really great for classic folk embroidery projects. Fantastic fabric. One of the things that I like this particularly for is that even though it is a 26 count fabric, which means if you're stitching over 2 threads, you'll end up with 13 stitches to the inch, it ends up looking a bit more intricate. And over time, it has a slight felting action, and you can develop even more texture in the fabric over time as it's used and loved. It's fantastic for cushion covers, table runners, wall hangings, pretty much almost any kind of folk embroidery you can come up with. It's also great for making little drawstring bags. It's great for that too. That's the traditional ground cloth 26 count. It comes in natural. This is the natural color, which again is a really warm kind of weedy color. It also comes in a white. Let me show you this design in white. We have a number of designs in white. One note about the white. The white is about 26 threads in one direction and about 25 and a half in the other. So if you are doing something that needs to be exactly square in each direction, then definitely choose the natural color, which is square in both directions, over the white. The white just has a little bit more variation in that thread count in each direction. And that is intentional because it mimics the natural variations in hand-woven fabrics. I'll get up close so you can see that one. That's the white traditional ground cloth. Next up is the 26 count Mikini. We offer 2 kinds of Mikini. Actually, this fabric is known by a different name in Greece, but we call it Mikini because it's very close to the 30 count Mikini, but this is the 26 count. It is not mercerized. I'll talk about that in just a minute. This is essentially the more polished cousin of traditional ground cloth. It also has a slightly warmer ivory tone than the traditional ground cloth. So if I can hold these fabrics up side by side, you can see the color difference. There's a little bit of color difference. The traditional ground cloth has a slight bit more of a gray undertone. This is a straight up, really warm ivory color. It is 26 stitches, 26 threads to the inch. So over 2, 13 stitches to the inch. It is fantastic for folk projects when you want something that has a smoother texture and you still want to be able to really easily see those threads. It's fantastic for a lot of folk embroidery projects. It comes in both the ivory and it comes in a bright white. The next fabric in our collection is the Mikini 30 count. The Mikini 30 count is a classic folk embroidery fabric. It is excellent for table runners, cushion covers, anything you're going to use regularly. I forgot to mention the 26 count is also excellent for making durable household items. The 30 count is mercerized, and so it's very, very crisp. Mercerization actually helps the threads be smoother, and it also helps it take a dye better. So this, of course, is white, so this is actually undyed, or actually it's actually bleached. But it actually has fantastic stitch definition. So if you're looking for a 30 count fabric that is really easy to see the threads on and still has that wonderful stitch definition, the Mikini 30 count is fantastic. We offer it in a couple of different versions. We have the white, That's the white. Also fantastic for drawn thread hem work. Any drawn thread hemming you do on it is really crisp, really polished looking. We also have it in a new ivory color, and that's why I don't have a sample to show you. This is the ivory color. It is, again, very close in color to the 26 count. It's a little smidge warmer, just a smidge warmer. Really fantastic if you're looking for something that has a little warmer tone in it. It is also mercerized. This is the 30 count Micanee ivory. Then, to make things a little bit more confusing, we also offer the Micanee in what's called the raw version. And what this is this is the Micanee fabric, the 30 count, before it's gone through the mercerization process or been bleached. So this is just it as it comes off the looms with no finishing. And so it is actually 30 count in one direction and 32 count in another direction. I haven't found it to be a real problem when stitching. I just basically treat it as if it is a 30 count fabric and use the same amount of fabric I would use for a 30 count, just knowing that my design will work up just slightly smaller in one direction. I haven't really found it to be a big issue while stitching. The advantage of this fabric is its texture. It is very natural looking. It has little tiny flecks in it, little tiny fiber cotton flecks, which is kind of nice. Wonderful color. I love this color because it does have that very raw, very natural, very folk look. And it's very soft in the hand. Very soft in the hand. It also, even though it has not been through mercerization yet, it still works a really great drawn thread hem. So that's the 32 count natural Micanee. Then the last fabric in our cotton fabrics is the window pane fabric. And again, I don't have a sample on this to show you right now, but to give you an idea, what this is this is fabric that is specially milled with machine drawn thread hemming inserts, and it's about 50 stitches across, about 100 threads across in the square. So you can take any little cross stitch motif and stitch it in the square. You can stitch it as like an all over design. You can also just stitch it all around the border. This one's kind of fun if you want to have something that works up a little faster, because you just have to stitch in the little square. It's kind of a really nice look. It was originally designed for tablecloths, but you can use it for table runners, cushion covers, or anything like that. The last fabric in our line that we offer is a 30 count linen. This is very similar to a lot of 30 count linens that you will see in America that are offered in all different sorts of cross stitch shops. We just happen to import ours from our supplier in Greece. Linen is a fantastic fabric, especially for heirloom work. Linen, while cotton pieces will last very well, linen is sort of considered the gold standard. Having said that, I like all the fabrics. Each one's a little different for different projects. I do really love our vanilla linen. It is a very faint warm white. It's not a bright white. We do have a bright white. We have the porcelain color, which is a bright white 30 count linen. But the vanilla tends to be one of my go-tos because that just little bit of warmth in it harmonizes very well with the Mediterranean color palette. It is fantastic for table runners, cushion covers, pretty much any project you want. Bags, anything you want to make out of it. It's very durable and it's really nice to stitch on. The threads are easy to see. However, I will say that the threads in the linen fabric are maybe just a tiny bit harder to see than, say, the threads in the Micanee 30 count. That just has to do with the nature of the linen. Those are the Avlea fabrics. If you have any questions, never hesitate to email us. We're happy to answer your questions about which fabric might be best for your needs. Thank you.